Hi, my name is Kyle and Burns. This is my wife Mel and our new daughter Rosemary. We farm at the Nye Ranch in Fort Bragg, California on the Mendocino coast, about 1,200 feet from the ocean.
I was studying art in college and I got kind of a random job on a flower farm during summer and I absolutely fell in love. I wasn't raised to think that farming could be a career choice, but as soon as I kind of saw people doing that and making it work, it totally shifted everything about my world, and I was like, this is what I want to be doing. Our worlds collided over photography. Actually, we were both doing a lot of photography at the time, and Kyle came to one of my art shows, and that's where we first met and hit it off and had a lot of shared passions, so here we are.
I met Mel in Butte County in Northern California, and we had the dream of starting a farm together. And we did a road trip across the Southwest trying to figure out where we wanted to do a trip and up north. And we figured why not do it on some family land on the Mendocino coast. So we sold everything we owned and moved out here and lived in a tent for a few months and planted a cover crop and got to work on the land. So we moved here in October, and the barn was occupied at the time, so we set up a tent in the field, and right as the rainy season rolled into California, and it was a really small tent, but
it was an experience. We had just a twin mattress and a tiny tent that we'd have to air out every day because it was so wet everywhere.
Yeah, we tilled up some land and planted a cover crop, and even after soil tests, we realized the land didn't drain well. We thought we made a huge mistake. Why would we jump into this farming career without doing enough research? The cover crop only grew a couple inches over winter.
That winter, we kind of were like, what are we doing? This is a disaster. I don't think we can farm here.
Luckily, in the springtime, all we had to do was build some raised beds, and it solved all our problems, and we had an excellent first season on the farm.
Yeah, I think we got the hard part over pretty quick starting the farm that way, and everything else has seemed easier, more enjoyable, I don't know. Looking back now, I would say it was a really good experience because it really humbled us and just got us that much more connected to the land, just sleeping on it, eating on it, we were on the farm 24/7.
So our first year we made 47 raised beds with shovels and a lot of work, digging out all the perennial grasses and blackberries. The pasture here was desiccated, compacted soil from years of overgrazing, and so it wasn't an easy project, but a labor of love. I was homeschooled since up until high school, and I always loved helping my mom in the garden since I was a little kid. A family of 4 boys, I was the only one that really enjoyed it. As I got older, I always kind of wanted to start a farm, but I just didn't have the resources and the knowledge of how to make that happen. When I met Mel, and she was working on a cut flower farm in Chico, we kind of started doing some research on the ways about going and starting a farm. It was a big gamble. I didn't have very much experience at all, and Mel had 3 years of flower farming experience, and we just dove right in. You know, I've always had a really deep connection to nature, and growing up in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas, I spent all my time outdoors being homeschooled and just love that connection with the soil. And I really like hard work, and it's hard work that really pays off, and you see that on your customer's face when they thank you for the amazing nutrition you're growing for them, and so involved on a day-to-day with feeding people is just something we're really passionate about. We find such great joy in it. It hardly feels like work sometimes, no matter how hard it is. We just feel so lucky to be able to do it. No, without any outside investment, we decided to have a huge sale at my old loft in Chico, and we sold all our old photographs that were printed and framed, and a bunch of furniture, and and my car at the time. We used all that money to invest in infrastructure the first year, the irrigation, the BCS, and some tools, but it was a pretty bare bones first year. It really was scary to kind of let go of everything and start from scratch, but it really paid off as the years went on. Our first year, we invested about $30,000 into the farm. We could have used a little bit more to get some of the tools we wanted, but it was a good start. Yeah, so currently we're leasing an acre of land and farming just under an acre of it. We utilize no-till and low-till techniques. Our first season we tried complete no-till after visiting Singing Frog Farms in Sebastopol, California. Because of our unique climate, we realized that a lot of their practices couldn't be translated to our environment. We're 1,200 feet from the Pacific Ocean. We rarely get above 65 degrees here, Fahrenheit that is. It's a cold climate. Even in the winter, we rarely get below 30 degrees. So it's a very mild climate that we're super lucky to grow in, but it has its own challenges. Summer fog, high salty winds that just destroy plants and throw remay all the way across the field, which really the protected culture of caterpillar tunnels has really proven worthy on our farm. My wife and I work beyond full times here on the farm, as well as one full-time employee. We do our best to have a really lean and efficient farm so that we can take Sundays and Mondays as slow days and have that time to enjoy life outside of the farm, despite how much we love farming. When we first moved here, a lot of the locals immediately questioned what we were doing because we're right by Highway 1. And they're like, what are you growing, peas and potatoes? Because that was what was historically farmed here. And we're like, are we stupid to be trying so much diversity so close to the ocean? And with enough love, we have proven that you can kind of grow anything as long as you really pour your heart into it. So we started growing heirloom tomatoes 1,000 feet from the ocean with the help of caterpillar tunnels and landscape fabric to heat the soil. We are using grafted rootstock to increase the disease resistance and the vigor to really help them thrive in this wet and cool climate. It's not a typical climate you're going to find tomatoes thriving. To increase our workflow and the speed at which we can harvest, we plant 3 different varieties for wholesale in a staggered pattern, alternating varieties. And so as I'm harvesting, I'm creating a mixed flat. And once I touch the tomato, I don't have to touch it again until I deliver it. Here at Nye Ranch, we are extremely diverse in the crops we grow. Mel manages the cut flower side of the operation. In a typical season, when she doesn't have a newborn baby, she would be growing over 100 varieties for mixed bouquets. I do all the management of the strawberries, all the summer and winter brassicas, the heirloom tomatoes, and the rest of the field crops, the roots, the lettuces, the greens. We kind of grow it all.
A typical year for flowers here on the coast, in early spring we have anemones and ranunculus, and those are the first that come on. We do, 500 or 600 feet of those, and then sweet peas come on after that, and dahlias, and kind of a whole array of filler flowers, and ending the season with a lot of rudbeckia and chrysanthemums. I arrange all the bouquets for farmers market. I did do wedding arrangements and special occasion arrangements for a couple years, but I decided that wasn't what I was most happy doing, so cut doing that. Normally we would be growing about 1/4 acre in cut flowers, and this year, because I've been busy growing a different flower, I stepped way back. We're doing a lot less flowers, only a few varieties: sunflowers, dahlias, sweet peas, ranunculus, and keeping it simple. And that way I don't have to stress that there's tons to do and I can focus on raising a baby.
First and foremost, we're a market farm. We attend 2 farmers markets in the area, as well as our on-site farm stand. We do some wholesaling to local restaurants and grocery stores.
When COVID hit or kind of came to the area, a lot of people were afraid to shop at the grocery store, and restaurants were kind of put on pause, and overnight we had to think of something to keep the farm sales going. So we created a CSA box and listed it online, and we were able to sell out in 2 hours, which was so awesome. We started out with about 80 boxes and grew to about 119, and once kind of restaurants started ordering again in the farmers market, sales increased again. We cut back to about 80 weekly boxes, and some of those, about 54 of those, are customers who have signed up for several months in a row and prepaid for all their boxes. And then we also offer just a weekly option, so people that maybe can't afford to make those payments can just choose week by week if they would like a box or not.
People really want to know where their food is coming from now, and the desire to know your farmer has never been so strong. When we started out farming here, our soil was desiccated and barren of any life. We've now raised the soil organic matter over 8% and really created a hospitable environment for our crops to thrive in. It's been a huge challenge to turn sand into a healthy ecosystem, but with a lot of hard work and compost, it's getting better and better every year. Being right on the headlands on the Mendocino coast, the salty winds have been one of our biggest challenges here. We use a lot of agribon in the winter and spring to keep our tender crops protected. Last fall, a bomb cyclone came through and just wreaked havoc on our farm. With the uncertainties of climate change, I feel like caterpillar tunnels can really help keep crops alive through extreme rain events and wind storms.
The caterpillar tunnels have been huge for us. Being able to grow summer crops like peppers and tomatoes and those kinds of things have just really increased our sales because they're a big cash crop. And so as a small farm, to be able to grow those things where we couldn't previously has really added to our success.
It's been so amazing to add another member of the family onto the farm. We're really looking forward to having her work for us in a couple of years. And it should be, any day now she'll start walking and picking strawberries for us. But it's been a blessing to have her around, and the sleepless nights are all worth it. I worked extremely hard over the winter to farm year-round so that I could save up enough money to take off a couple months in the middle of summer during the height of our growing season. It was very challenging to step away in the summer, but it was so worth it to be able to spend the time with my wife and our newborn baby. There's nothing better than those first couple months. It can be a little difficult to get a little less sleep at night and not have Mel out in the field with me by my side, but the added value of having Rosemary around has made our life so much brighter, so much more fulfilling.
The biggest change with having a baby on a farm is that I'm not farming very much currently. She's only 2 months old and needs a lot of attention. Luckily, because I've scaled back so much, I'm still able to cut the flowers that I'm growing and get those bunched for market. But I haven't been very helpful other than that so far. And we're still figuring out systems on how to have her out here comfortable so that I can get some more work done. But it's all just trial and error at this point. I'm the boss. We each kind of manage one side of the farm. Kyle does the vegetable production, I do cut flowers. We're both very particular and stubborn, and so it's really helpful in our relationship that, like, when I go to the vegetable side, Kyle's say kind of wins over mine, and if he's on my side, I kind of get to make the rules, and so it's been really helpful that way. So I would say between the two of us, I'm the one who has to say, like, let's take a break, or let's call it a day, because I want to relax and take time to do other things. Kyle's a lot harder to pull away from the farm. In fact, Monday is our slow days, and we have a joke that Sunday is Mel's day. This was before Rosemary, but that means kind of like we get to do something fun that I want to do, which usually means, you know, going for a picnic or a hike or just walking on the headlands, things like that. They're really important to us, just to keep things good in our relationship and our family, and to have some time off the farm. It's really important.
Creating such a lean farm has really been important to us, so that we can get off work at 5 or 6 o'clock and make dinner together, or go to the beach, go for a walk. That family time is really important for us. We try and take Sunday and Monday as slow days, and a lot of people might think we're crazy, but we just have set up the farm and structured it in a way to really make that work for us. Mel and I both have a creative background. We find that farming can be a very artistic outlet for us. In our spare time, we really like to go out and take photographs of the farm, and it doesn't feel like a job for us, but more as an opportunity to capture the beauty that we've created, and just to find so much fulfillment from that has been really beautiful. I feel extremely fortunate to farm for a living. It's really hard work, but it doesn't feel like work to me because I'm so passionate about it. I love eating good food, and you're never gonna get anything so fresh as when you live on a farm.
I love being outside in the sun and weather, and I love being in the dirt. It just feels right to me. It feels like home. I love growing flowers because I love being surrounded by beauty and the aesthetics of it. And once I realized I didn't have to spend my life working indoors or, you know, really hustling to make money in a conventional way, it just changed everything.
I love market farming because of the diversity we are able to grow out here. And every day is different, every task is different. Constantly trying new and different crops to keep us excited and keep our customers excited. I feel so lucky to be able to work with the soil every day and to do something I'm so passionate about. The perks to farming are endless, but I'm always just wandering the farm, pulling carrots out of the ground, washing them off on my leg, and just snacking away, grabbing a cherry tomato, popping them. It's just, I'm a constant snacker and with an endless appetite despite my figure.
I would say don't give up. You'll pull through probably eventually. There's so many challenges, but you just have to be determined and work through them and ask for help when you need it, and ask for advice from other people, and do research when you need to, and just keep trying different things. Experimentation is so important. We tried certain methods that we saw working on other farms, and they totally didn't work for us here, and adapting to that and trying new things is really what will make you a success.
I think it's never really been a more exciting time to start a farm. The technology and the information that's so easily accessible has been really helpful for us. We were able to really get started quick because of the books that are available, and the internet is fantastic and full of resources, and the small farming community is so willing to share. That being said, it's not always great to reach out to too many farmers because they are working over a full-time job. So do your own research, and the best thing to do really is to dive into that soil and start some seeds. Mel and I have been leasing land here at the Nye Ranch for 5 years, and we were looking at buying property in the area until COVID hit, and we realized just how isolating it is to raise a family without family around. We were offered the opportunity to lease a farm in the Sierra Nevada foothills closer to home, where our families both reside. It's an area we both love deeply as well. We miss the pine trees and the oaks and the rivers and the creeks and the lakes. And the farm is just absolutely beautiful and full of hedgerows and ponds and apple trees and peach trees. It's literally our dream farm. It's the farm we wanted to create ourselves, but without all the work of starting it ourselves. And having a newborn baby, it's kind of the best case scenario for us moving forward. It's going to be very hard to leave this community that we love so much, but family is the most important thing to us right now. We really look forward to being able to have our family be a part of Rosemary's upbringing. It's going to be really sad to leave Fort Bragg. We've developed some lifelong friendships here, and the community has backed us so incredibly hard.
It'll be really hard to leave the ocean. This view never gets old. It's so healing and wonderful. Being a Valley girl, I'm very excited for some summer heat in my life. I've been missing that for 5 years now.
A lot of people are going to think we're crazy for leaving this farm. It's absolutely beautiful. We feel insanely lucky to be able to have spent 5 years of our life here.
What we're really looking forward to, like our dreams for this new farm, is to be able to grow even more food for more people. We're also just really looking forward to watching Rosemary grow up on a farm in a beautiful setting, close to family, and just excited for her to be able to walk around while we're working and, eat things right off the farm and play in the dirt, make friends with bugs, whatever she decides to do. It's all going to be awesome.
We are extremely excited to be continuing our farming journey at River Hill Farm.